You won't know who I am from what you perceive. But if you listen when we speak, then you will receive a glimpse of who I am. And then you'll believe and have a life of peace, because your soul is at ease. You see, our source is the essence from which this world is conceived, which means that we were here before the bird and the bee. Now if you have not guessed, I am eternity. But now if you have guessed, and you guessed correctly, that simply means we share the same destiny to realize we are the God and Trinity that is talked about in Christianity. Now some will say that vanity or go as far as insanity. It's because they believe in Western theology. But as for we see, we choose ancient Kemetic philosophy. Not to say that's the only path to immortality. That's the path for we, this life, you see, as we devote our life to helping others be free, so they in turn can reach their full divinity. And this is done because of the he and I and the I and he. Peace and wholeness. Hey. Uh-oh.
All right. Okay. That was a doozy. What's happening? Just gonna come up here and make this thing larger. Yeah. But now the display is on this big one. It's a small thing, yet it makes a subtle difference. It's a subtle thing, yet it makes a difference. All right. Yeah. Here we go. All right, we got the setup one now. Okay. The main reason, because my person is still looking to his vision, this is to help see the comments and viewers and things like that. So, at any rate, welcome to another Soulful Discussion on this Soulful Sunday. And Soulful Sunday, two-part vote, where the ideology, the theory behind the attention on this Soulful Sundays is simply bringing sex back to Christianity. And that just simply looks like honoring the duality of the reality of creation, of the all, of the existence of God, of God. And yeah, here we go with the Soulful Discussion part. which is nonetheless something more just us engaging in discussion on a lifestyle that allows us to maintain, to feel the peace of God that surpasses all understanding. You know, which on the surface it can seem to be challenging in today's time. However, the more that we engage in the discipline, see the discipline of what we know about the teachings that come to us, that the easier it is. Hence, that's the main topic of the day for discussion is the discipline of it all. So, we'd like to go ahead and play this drum just for a minute or two to kind of officially open up this portal. And I'm gonna set this thing down real quick. All right, put the incense out. It's just light and aromatherapy already going on, so put the incense out. Sound therapy, music and medicine, drum circle, invocation, libation, meditation, prayer, all in one, baby, all in one. That's how we live. Very intentional, very intentional. Not only that, with the flavor of discipline. Yes, flavor of discipline. So if that's what we open this portal up to, focus on discipline. The portal is always open. Many portals are always open. So it just simply comes down to what is your intention with the portal or portals that you're using at any given moment. And here on the Soulful Sundays discussion, the Soulful Discussion, we're using this portal to discuss intimately discipline, discipline, this I plan, this you plan, this I plan, this it plan. Discipline, discipline, discipline. Why discipline? Well, as we look to bring sex back to Christianity, you see, if there was such a thing, this is just the inner child using its imagination. Why is that? Well, growing up, as a youth, my person was raised Christian. Grew up as indoctrinated in the ideology of the Christian religion. Yes. And loved it. It's like, hey, love it, loved it, love it, And so the only thing is, at some point, there was some information that came that influenced a brother to turn his back on Christianity. If that's what you love, turn his back, Some say back, turn your back and you slide away. Backslid, backslider. Yeah, so came across some information like, man, well, actually, before the back was turned, yeah, yeah, so beautiful to you too. So before the back was turned, dove deeper off it too. The reason being, came across some information about a couple of brothers in the Old Testament. One named Enoch, one named Elijah. They were known as prophets. And these prophets, they stood out, stand out, because Scripture says that they did not die. There was no physical death. They simply became one with God while still alive. Uh, some accounts say a chariot, some say a whirlwind, like a tornado. Um, some esoteric insight or suggestion says Merkabah. So anyway, yeah, those cats. It was like, so at that point, that was the that was the height of my person's devotion to Christianity as it was taught. The thought was confess with your mouth and believe with your heart that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, and you shall be saved. So that was it. Believe with your heart, confess with your mouth, Jesus Christ your Lord and your Savior, then you shall be, granted everlasting life. The keys to heaven, baby. Right. And then come across Enoch and Elijah, like, hey, baby, she's even better than that. You can even just not even physically die. And for some reason, my person been find a lot of excitement for that type of philosophy. So they never turn it back. Like, y'all ain't even about it. And this is just a projection, a judgment call at the time. But y'all ain't about it. My person turned it back and slid on out the way. So back to the came across some other information regarding the how-to, if you will, the how-to Christianity as far as if there was a way to live like Enoch, how do you do that? If there's a science to it, what's the science? So my person embarked upon the science of leaving this physical reality, this third dimension, the same as Enoch or Elijah, which some call simply ascension. Also may be known as the rainbow body or light body. So, the science to that. And foundationally, even more so, more important, what it requires above anything else, just from my personal perspective and understanding of something thus far on this journey, above anything else, there's number one, numero uno, it would be the discipline. Discipline, the discipline, the discipline. Why does that discipline stand out? Well, because it stands out because Yeshua is the one they call Jesus the Christ. They say he took 12 ordinary guys, 12 ordinary cats, man. In fact, some of them was maybe a little bit less than ordinary, but nonetheless ordinary, a lawyer, a doctor, tax collector, something like that. One was a thief, I guess, Judas, anyway. But the point is, he took 12 cats and said, come here, man. Come here. Look at him. Ooh. Got something for you, man. He recruited them. And he said, follow me and I'll make you fishermen of men. But the bottom line is, they were beginning to do the same thing that he was doing. They did some of the same stuff that he did. Miracles. 12 ordinary guys. Why? Well, the answer is in their name. What they were called. They were called disciples. Yes, disciples. Disciples disciples, 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 disciples. And if you look at the word disciple along with discipline may come out at you. If not, there it is. It still may come out. Discipline, disciple, discipline, disciple, discipline. Anywho, it's just something to being a disciple and being disciplined. Now, personally, um, there's an understanding in my personal that suggests that when some hear the word disciple and being disciplined as a disciple, one thing that may pop up, at least for my person first, years ago, not as much any longer, but before, because this concept has been around for my person quite some time. Before it was, what would Jesus do? You know, um, and at one point there was this trend or fad, even these, little bracelets or what they call lanyards chained around your necks. There was a saying, "What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do?" It was heavy, and at least in my personal experience, in the society that it was viewing. So anyway, we saw that for a while. What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? And even before that, what would Jesus do? Again, for a long time, being a disciple, it made sense. You be a disciple, you be a disciple, you follow Jesus. If you follow Jesus, ideally, the more that you look to be in line with his teachings, you're a disciple, right? And so, and with that, the challenge that my person had was, first of all, allegedly it was a long time ago, you know, and it seems as though some of the things that was going on then, you know, uh, we get the principles are the same. Yet it just seemed as though the things they were dealing with on the surface may have been a little bit different. So it may be challenging to see how to apply those principles in today's time when the visual is and some call it ancient times. In other words, riding on camels and getting water from the well, and they still around today, but just certain things about how long it took to get someplace, the communication, just various things that what we call maybe say technology that wasn't available back then. It makes a difference. It can make a difference on how one sees the same principles being used. So that makes any sense. Um, maybe a far stretch, but for those who remember the Flintstones, they automobiles ran out of foot power. Put your foot in, and you put your foot in, you brake with your feet, right? So depending upon how much energy you have, will determine how far you go. Whereas today, you fill a car with gas, you can sit back, put on cruise control. Whereas now, some vehicles even drive for yourself, just let it do automatic drive. So, and then when you talk about, say, gas stations or gas mileage, or say, even though those cars in the Flintstone day, they would break down. So there were probably fewer shops that did probably, or the shops that were around did different things in the shops today. They were more simpler, more seen based on how the cars look as far as having all those things. So then um, acting, using the principles, it will look different. Um, sometimes you start talking to you and you look to give an analogy, you just feel as though it may not be doing the best justice. So, at this point, try, if you get it, you get it. If not, sometimes some we just cut our losses. But the point is the discipline. The point is the point is about the discipline on one side, personally, is that as a disciple, brothers and disciples, as a disciple, my person does not look at um, say talking like Jesus, Yeshua, you know, or necessarily walking around in sandals, not really, yeah, whatever. Not turning water to wine or something. Not that, that's something. But other than that, turning water to wine, even walking on water, that's cool. But so yeah. But anyway, now let's just give a contrast, compare and contrast, right? And part of this also is, a person's really devoted to giving at least a good half hour, of sharing some information, uh, especially if no one's in the studio as of yet, just in case someone may come, give at least a half hour grace before we shut it down. And or if someone wishes to engage on the in social media. Anyway, which adds to being more talkative to stretch things out, more analogies, but and sometimes just to stretch things out with the analogies may not be the best thing because you just pulling and crashing or something that has some weight or something that's sticking. Anyway, so the other side of that thing of discipline, as opposed to uh, being being a disciple, being disciplined, like to be just like Jesus or Yeshua. The other side, which my person embrace these days and encourage, is the discipline to the subtle voice of God, or to the subtle voice of your higher self, your spirit guides, and or your ancestors. Um, Whatever it is, whichever deity, whatever name that you may give to that intuitive nature that you have. We all have a degree of intuition. This intuition is insight about something without having any previous information that you gathered yourself. As far as it wasn't read in a book. Someone didn't say it. You didn't see it. It just came as some would call a hunch. Or this thing that would say, some told me, some told me, some told me. Some told me this is going to happen. So whatever that thing is, you know, again, not a terror to be God, the God within, higher self. Um, so again, my person simply suggested that the discipline that we have with being obedient to those instructions is to the same degree that more of our unique Christ consciousness gifts will be unlocked / available for us. Use the word unlocked as opposed to use the word unlocked as it relates to locked and being unlocked. Not so much locked that you need a key to get in, Yet metaphorically speaking, you need a key to get in, to have access, locked, maybe also synonymous with blocked, you know, blocked because there may be something that's providing resistance to experiencing that part of self, right? Which is why detoxes are important, baths are important, things like that, to unblock and or have less resistance, right, to experiencing the totality, the fullness of the soul, the uniqueness of the soul. So, all right, that's it. All right. It seemed like someone may have just made it, or maybe not. All right, so that's about it. We got about maybe 3 more minutes left on this thing here. So yeah, and the discipline came up because that's it's fundamental for my person. Generally speaking, brother's very proud, in a sense, generally speaking, for lack of better terms. Satisfied. But my person is quite satisfied, content, you know, about its perspective on realities, what's happening, you know, how it fits into the creation story, its role, you know. So all that's left really is to have the discipline, personal again, the discipline to settle into that so that all expressions, movement, sound, looks, all expressions, everything, breathing, everything, all expressions, all emanations reflect that understanding, that perspective of reality. So the discipline is, yeah, how to express that shit 24/7. To when they say to unblock anything that's resisting the full expression thereof, to unlock, to gain access, to gain access, to gain access in such a way that that's flowing 24/7. So that's it for my person. That's how it's in this season of discipline. Discipline, the discipline, discipline, the discipline, the discipline, the discipline. As a disciple, the discipline of choosing every choice that allows more full expression of the soul. The discipline, the discipline. So that at some point, all that's being expressed is the uniqueness of the soul. The discipline, the discipline. Yeah. I think that's about sums it up. Discipline for my person needs to be in the discipline shit. Yeah. Yeah. Know enough. Know it all. From a certain perspective, know it all. So the disciplines of allowing all that my person knows to be fully manifest, fully expressed. the discipline to allow all that my person can know to be fully manifest, fully expressed. The discipline, the discipline. It takes discipline from a certain perspective. All right. Thanks for sharing your time, your energy. We'll check in next Sunday for another soulful discussion. As we beat ourselves, you see, this tapping is something. This tapping is very beneficial. Uh, right now, the purpose that it serves is clearing the space. It's multi-purpose. It's one, clearing the space because it's, free, whatever's energy here, it's saying move, 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 flow, move, stimulate, move. It's flowing, it's moving. Intentional breathing, releasing. At the same time, it's moving. My person is just maintaining the discipline piece on the discipline so that every expression is a reflection of my person's perspective on creation. So as it holds that within its essence and intention, there's also more is coded into the cells at the same time. Those are the two main things. Clearing out the old, putting in the new. So with that being said, we're going to get it on the drum to facilitate for those who it resonates with for deeper revelation, with being disciplined to your own higher self, your own God within. Yeah, that's it. All right. That's it. That's enough. All right. As we officially close out the forecast of discipline with our discussion part, in the transition to the feeling part, we'll be here at 1 o'clock for someone that signed up for the sound bath. So, Wonder Tour. Lois Tour. Saw that name Wonder out there. But anyway, someone did register for the sound bath. So we're going to take a little brief pause for the call. So just a reminder. Soulful Sunday, man, with the discussion and the sound bath. It's just a little sample, little just, for an all-inclusive experience. Yes. Greetings yourself, Notice a cool one. Indeed. We're just talking about discipline for a little while. Quite interesting. You see it. Wonder why it's not showing viewers on Facebook. Anyway. Yeah. So we'll just close it down, talk about discipline for a little while. Usually if no one shows up in the studio, about a half hour, we just shut it on down. Get ready for the next thing, which is the 1 p.m. Sound Bath. Yeah, so discipline was the thing, and the takeaway was just simply being disciplined to the God within. Being disciplined to God within. The subtle voice, the subtle voice, the subtle voice. All right. With that, bid you adieu. Say good day. Right on.